What a proud moment for her, and she looks fabulous.
108. Wow. That is Channel 5 Eyewitness News at 5:30.
Here's John Marlowe now with a look at what's next on Eyewitness News at 6. John.
Coming up next at 6, depending on an ambulance to save your life. But what if that ambulance was late? That's what happened to a family in North Fulton County. A girl suffered brain damage, and her parents blame a late ambulance. It's an I-team investigation. Plus, these stories.
A man accused of raping 2 DeKalb County women finally goes to trial after waiting 7 long years. I'm Shirley Washington. I'll have that story.
Just to let you know, there are some big changes on the way here at Channel 5, and come this fall, there's going to be a whole lot of different stuff pumped out of that TV antenna. I'm Jim Kozerski. I'll have a live report coming up.
I'm Doug Richards in Woodbury, Georgia. A beautiful lake on the edge of town is the source of a drinking water problem, which has angered and frustrated many residents here. I'll have that story coming up on Eyewitness News.
Also tonight, police say they have broken up a major heroin distribution network in Atlanta. We'll have the stories next on Eyewitness News at 6. May 23rd, 1994. It's the moment we hope will never come, the moment we depend on an ambulance to save our life. Tonight, the dangerous delay that devastated the life of a child and her family.
Dedicated, determined, dependable. This is Channel 5 Eyewitness News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Brenda Wood.
And I'm John Marler. We begin tonight with the results of a 3-month I-team investigation. When you call 911, you expect an ambulance to respond quickly. But our I-team has found in Fulton County that doesn't always happen, and the delay can be dangerous. Investigative reporter Dale Russell right now is in North Fulton County. He joins us live with the story. Dale?
John, Metro is a private ambulance company that handles all of the 911 calls for North Fulton County. They boast one of the best response times in the entire region. But paramedics who drive rescue trucks like this one here at the Roswell Fire Department and others like this in Alpharetta contend that too often Metro is too slow. And those critics say that a slow response time can change a person's life. Jamie Nadler was the little girl we all know, rushing home from her first day at school, clowning with her brothers. She was outgoing, precocious, and precious.
Take a picture of me.
Well, we have to get the applesauce off, sweetie.
Today, Jamie Nadler suffers from permanent brain damage, and her parents blame the tragedy on what they call a 911 system of horrors.
A few minutes longer and she would have died.
Was that critical?
That critical.
Yes.
The ordeal began early on a September morning, 1991. Jamie Nadler had a seizure in her Alpharetta home. Her mother called 911. It took 10 minutes for Fulton County medics to arrive at the scene.
To me, it was really, it was scary for myself, and I know it had to be for them as well.
The rescue team of Greg Foster and Randall Cagle found Jamie in the middle of a full seizure. They made sure she could breathe, gave her oxygen. But the fire rescue team couldn't transport Jamie to the hospital. They needed an ambulance. That's potentially dangerous for that little girl?
Yes, she needed to be in the hospital.
There is a dispute over what happened next. Metro Ambulance says 911 dispatchers didn't call them right away. 911 says they did. But no one disputes that Metro Ambulance got lost on the way. It took 24 minutes after calling 911 for the ambulance to arrive.
And I'm thinking in my own mind, what would I be feeling, or what would I be going through if that was my daughter? Trying to understand the fear of these parents not being able to get the transport, that they needed to get their daughter to the hospital.
Sometime between leaving the Nadler's home and arriving at Scottish Rite Hospital, Jamie Nadler stopped breathing. Her brain permanently damaged. What happened to Jamie Nadler is rare, but critics say waiting for an ambulance in North Fulton County is all too common. Just look at the map. Metro Ambulance covers this territory from here, some 20 miles east, all the way over to here, and north of the river, some 14 miles to there. And they do it with just 2 ambulances.
41, subject Wilson, you need the 1021.
Metro ambulances respond to emergencies from 14th Street in Atlanta all the way up to North Fulton County. They boast an overall average response time of 8.3 minutes. But Metro admits it can take longer. I mean, is it possible in North Fulton that your response time is a good bit longer than 8 minutes in the unincorporated?
Average response?
Yeah.
Yes. Unquestionably. I think it's closer to 10.5 in that area.
It's taking longer than we would like for them to get there.
The men who run the emergency response teams for the cities of Roswell and Alpharetta are concerned about Metro's response times. Since January of this year, the Roswell EMS director has logged over 100 calls with ambulance response times ranging from 12 minutes to as high as 30 minutes. And is that potentially dangerous?
In certain cases, yes.
And Alpharetta's EMS director says he found that 1 out of every 3 ambulance responses by Metro this year took longer than 12 minutes. Some calls have taken as long as 20 to 25 minutes.
If we had at least one more ambulance up here manned daily, that probably would not take care of the problem completely, but it sure would help out.
Metro Ambulance insists an extra ambulance is needed only for a small percentage of calls when the response time exceeds 10 minutes.
Optimally, you always want to have more ambulances. I mean, the goal is to always have someone available to respond. And in the real world, you can't do it.
Let me go listen to them and we'll get them going.
Emergency medical expert Dr. Jim Dougal says he personally has responded to accidents and had to wait for an ambulance.
The most critical part are the very beginning, from the insult of the heart attack or the onset of the injury. That's the golden hour. We're losing the golden hour of trauma in North Fulton County.
I mean, I have no faith in the system.
Families like the Nadlers say they have already lost that golden hour, and they are angry at an emergency system that let them down.
I mean, we lost our daughter. She isn't the little girl that we had.
Now, Metro Ambulance denies any wrongdoing in the Jamie Nadler case, and there is a lawsuit that is pending. Tomorrow night at 6, the I-Team rides with rescue trucks just like this one. In North Fulton County, we wanted to see firsthand exactly what Metro's responses look like. We'll show them to you. We'll also tell you about 3 former Metro employees who tell us that some Metro employees falsify their response times that are turned into the state. It's our special report, Dangerous Delay, tomorrow night at 6. Reporting live from Roswell Fire Department, Dale Russell, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Fascinating and worrisome. Dale, thank you very much.
Federal agents tonight say they have cracked a Nigerian heroin ring based here in Atlanta. Agents say major shipments arrived in Atlanta and were sent to Houston and Chicago, and that over the last 2 years, the ring has distributed heroin worth more than $30 million.
The case isn't about Nigerians or Nigerian nationals, but it's about heroin, because the heroin's a really dangerous drug, and unfortunately is making an even more dangerous comeback. So the real value of this indictment, and the charges still have to be proved, is that we're attacking heroin at a high level as opposed to just a street level.
26 people living in Atlanta and in Houston have been named in the indictments. 20 of those are Nigerians.
A 7-year-old rape case is finally getting underway in DeKalb County Superior Court. It is what rape victim Kathy Winkler has been fighting for. Now, Winkler was raped in her Decatur home back in 1987. She has not been able to identify her attacker. Channel 5's Shirley Washington reports prosecutors are relying heavily on some high-tech evidence to try to prove their case. And we must warn you, some of the pictures in the story you may find disturbing.
It is a horror story Kathy Winkler cannot forget. August of 1987, during the still of the night, a man broke into her Decatur home, raped and terrorized her repeatedly for 3 hours.
He slugged me several times in the face, and discoloration, especially around the eyes and around here where some blows had hit. I didn't touch my hair, I didn't touch anything, and I just put on the minimal clothes to protect the evidence.
Winkler fought consistently for 7 years, even hired a private detective to gather evidence against her alleged attacker, 39-year-old Kenneth Redding. But because Winkler cannot identify Redding as the man who raped her, prosecutors are depending heavily on DNA evidence, which they say links Redding to the horrible crime.
The evidence samples submitted, that is the collected evidence from the crime scene and from the victim, match the known blood of the defendant.
Redding was given 3 DNA tests. The first one was thrown out because of a bad search warrant. The second one was botched, and the third one was finally ruled admissible in court about 2 weeks ago. DNA, which is genetic fingerprinting, involves something called a PCR test. Tiny amounts of DNA are duplicated millions of times until there is enough to make an honest comparison. Redding's attorney, Claudia Sari, isn't putting much stock into the DNA test.
The technology at the point that it's at is just simply too new. There hasn't been enough validation studies. There haven't been enough licensing, accreditation, standardizations that have been completed to admit the technology into evidence.
It will be up to a jury to decide just how valuable the DNA test really is. Shirley Washington, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Redding is also accused of raping another woman. She could not identify him as her attacker either. Opening arguments were expected to begin in that case tomorrow morning. Brenda?
Now, a divorce and marriage announcement that's shocking the television industry. The 45-year relationship between WAGA-TV, Channel 5, and CBS is over. Instead, Channel 5 will be hitching up with the Fox broadcasting network. As we hear from Channel 5's Jim Kazurski, the breakup is over a younger TV audience.
Always remember that you're representing your country.
If you have been watching Fox programming, you've seen The Simpsons, In Living Color, Melrose Place, Married with Children. The Fox station in Atlanta has been WATL Channel 36. But within 6 months, WAGA-TV Channel 5 will broadcast Fox programming, and CBS will have to find a new home. What's that mean for you, a loyal CBS watcher? Jack Sander is president and general manager of WAGA.
You're still going to get Wheel and Fortune right here. You're still going to get Regis and Kathy Lee and Geraldo and those shows. You're still going to get Good Day Atlanta. You will not get the CBS primetime lineup, and you will not get the CBS soap operas on Channel 5.
Sanders says that Fox programming is more contemporary. It's what people want to watch.
CBS is not attracting the young demographics. They are not attracting the new consumer, the new viewer.
Young people watch Fox programming, and that seems to appeal to the people who pay to produce the programs, advertisers.
Advertisers like younger viewers because the younger viewers are more persuadable.
WAGA-TV is part of a developing conglomerate of what will be 12 TV stations in major cities across the country. The company is called New World Communications, and in return for leaving CBS and joining up with Fox, Fox plans on investing $500 million into New World. It will produce its own movies, series, expanded news programming, and of course this fall, NFL football will be seen on Fox station WAGA. And that news at night, it won't be on at 11 p.m. anymore, but at 10 o'clock.
More people say to me, I really like your news, I just can't stay up till 11 o'clock anymore. So I think we're going to be able to convert that audience to a 10 o'clock newscast.
The new relationship with Fox, according to Jack Sander, means more news. That 10 o'clock news will be an hour long. There'll be 2 hours between 5 and 7, along with New News Now and Good Day Atlanta. The changes will begin taking place this fall. Reporting live from Channel 5, Jim Kazurski, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks very much, Jim.
And just to be clear, one thing that will remain constant is Eyewitness News. Not only will we be here, but our commitment to news will be even stronger.
Just ahead on Eyewitness News at 6, it smells bad, it tastes foul, so is the water in a small middle Georgia town safe to drink?
Also coming up, what forced the evacuation of Atlanta's City Hall?
And the threat of bacteria in your food. CBS investigates tainted meat coming up at 6:30 on the CBS Evening News.
Tonight at 11 on Eyewitness News, the confession.
You shot your brother once, and he was sitting with his back to you.
Why? The victims.
The youth's mother and stepfather were
providing for him. There was food there. I got fed up.
Why? Channel 5's Ken McLeod takes you inside the minds of these Georgia teenagers to find out why they are kids who kill. Tonight at 11 on Eyewitness News. Dedicated, determined, dependable.
There's a big stink in a small town southwest of Atlanta, and it's all over the city water supply, which residents say has taken a foul turn. It's in Woodbury in Meriwether County. Doug Richards reports that while the water apparently isn't harmful, it isn't very pleasant either.
What does the water taste like to you?
Tastes muddy to me. Like dirt. It tastes like a dirty fish or something.
There are almost as many opinions as there are customers of the Woodbury city water system.
Have you smelled rotten wood when it's been in water a long time? Kind of tastes like that.
They are talking about Woodbury's tap water, which they say took on a rather unpleasant taste a few weeks ago.
Pretty nasty.
It just stinks real bad.
The water supply has unduly complicated work at Woodbury's 3 restaurants. One of them has begun importing water from another county. after the local tap began to drive off customers.
I'm losing some customers, and every time I lose one, that means that I've lost one, and that means that I'm losing money.
The city of Woodbury gets its water from Lake Meriwether, which is a 140-acre lake on the edge of town. The Department of Natural Resources, which has been monitoring water here for the last couple of weeks, is at a loss to explain why the water tastes the way it does. But it says the problem is likely rooted in excessive algae, which occurs naturally here in the lake.
It tastes good to me.
Robert Lovett has run Woodbury's water system for more than 20 years.
Everybody don't have the same taste.
But he's heard the complaints, and he says he's worked for weeks to get rid of the taste.
I've talked to about 50 different operators from Denver, Colorado to the East Coast, and nobody can tell me how to get a handle on this.
Meantime, Woodbury residents are cleaning the store shelves of bottled water and hoping their tap water can make an odor-free comeback. In Woodbury, Doug Richards, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Again, state health officials say there is no indication of any health hazard connected to the Woodbury water, but they plan a new series of tests just to make sure.
Coming up next on Eyewitness News at 6, who turned up the heat? Ken Cook will have the forecast for a warmer week.
And later, it may not look like it, but the Braves, well, we're not just teeing off on the golf green. They were fighting a mighty foe. Boy, did it get warm today. Let's see, humid thermometer, it was about, what, 88 degrees?
Strange you should feel that kind of temperature, because that's exactly what it was today. And all you have to do is change the wind direction a little bit. We had those cool north and northeasterlies coming in Saturday, especially when the thunderstorms came in, those surprise thunderstorms. But today the wind has changed around to northwest and west. And as a result, the hotter air is coming back in out of the Mississippi Valley. Tomorrow, it's a more direct flow coming in right out of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. We could even see the big 9-0 here tomorrow afternoon. Let's take a look and see what's going on. With our precipitation map, we see some thunderstorms rumbling across portions of Iowa and into neighboring Wisconsin, but the southeast is beautifully fair, and a few showers continue in the northeast and also in the mountain areas around Colorado. In the meantime, highs continue to warm, especially in the south and midsection of the country. Remember last week we were showing you high temperatures of only 60s and 70s in the southeast. Now tomorrow, 80s and 90s, 60s moving well up into New England, 70s around the Great Lakes. A greater area of 90 showing up in the deserts. One or two spots may hit 100 degrees, and a lot of 70s and 80s even in the mountains out west. What's going to happen, or what has happened? Well, high pressure, which was up last week, was centered up around the Great Lakes, gradually during the weekend migrated all the way down to Louisiana and Mississippi. Well, tomorrow the high is going to continue moving on to the east, so that opens up the Gulf of Mexico to a southerly and southwesterly wind flow. That will bring the moisture in. That will bring warmer temperatures. Ultimately, it allows a cold front to start working a little bit further southward. That won't happen immediately, but it may begin to happen about Thursday or Friday. Looking outside in Atlanta at 6 o'clock, we find our temperature still very warm at 87 degrees. Humidity still low at 38%, so we'll be comfortable after sunset. Westerly wind at 8 and a falling barometer. Today's high temperature reached 88. The low was 61, so it was 4 above average. It's been a lot hotter on the date, 95, a lot colder at 40. Sun comes up at 6:32. It will go down tomorrow at 8:37. You're looking at the gold dome there. Temperatures around Georgia at 6 o'clock, ranging from the mid and upper 80s in North Georgia, still 90s showing up at 6 o'clock. Columbia, Augusta, Charleston, Savannah, Alma, all hot, even warm along the coast. Normally it's not that warm, but the wind comes from the west and northwest. It just carries the hot air all the way down to the seashore. By morning, most of the state in the 60s, North Georgia in the 50s. So our forecast looks like this. A warm night of 60 to 63 in Atlanta, 50s in the mountains, of course. Mild to start off the day, 60 to 65 tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, sunny. Let's say hot, not even warm, 85 to 90 with a westerly wind. Moving on down the week, it will continue warm right on through, but we'll have a chance of thunder showers moving in on Thursday and Friday, and then clearing out, and milder weather returning for Saturday and Sunday. So says the weather seer at this time.
And I would say 90 qualifies as hot.
I would say so, too, especially when we've been 60s.
Yeah, really. Thanks, Ken. Coming up next here in Eyewitness News at 6, Georgia Tech finds out which team it'll play in the NCAA regionals.
Also coming up, we'll tell you about the emergency at City Hall.
Atlanta police blew up a shoebox today. Now they're trying to find out who made it look like a bomb and mailed it to the mayor. Just before noon, City Hall was evacuated after the strange box was found in the mailroom. An X-ray showed what looked like a bomb inside, so police set off a charge next to it and blew it up. Mayor Bill Campbell says it's time to tighten security.
Make more out of this than
than normal, then you, I think, perhaps almost invite someone to begin that process of doing it just to harass you.
The box turned out to be a hoax, deliberately made to look like a bomb.
What a frightening thing, though.
Yeah.
Jeff Hollinger, what's going on today in sports, my man?
Well, the Braves are off, but I wanted to mention Brenda looking very foxy today.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Save it. Okay.
All right, the Braves are back on track. They swept the Rockies over the weekend and spent the day in Roswell at Bobby Cox's charity golf tournament for spina bifida. The Braves have won 3 in a row, so you can understand the smile on Steve Avery's face, and you look around and everybody's in a pretty good mood. It's the perfect way to get involved in a charity because it's just more fun. Here's Bobby Cox. What kind of putter is he? Let's say this. He's a terrific manager.
It's our responsibility, I think, and we have several players out here today. They're having a great time. We have about 100 paying guests, and it's been a lot of fun so far, and it's going to a great charity, spina bifida.
When we're at the ballpark and stuff, it's like you're playing the game of baseball, and there's a lot of pressure involved, and so you don't really have time to socialize and just have a good time. But you come out here and you got time to socialize with the guys and just have a good time.
It is a good way to spend the day off away from the baseball field. Tomorrow, Tom Glavine versus Doug Drabek, the Houston Astros in town. That's a good series, good pitching matchup also. In the American League this afternoon, the remarkable Joe Carter continues to cut through the opposition with the greatest of ease. He has 54 RBIs. 6-4 Toronto over the Indians. Carter 3 for 5, singles home a run with 2 outs in the 9th. Not only does he hit for average and power and statistics, but also comes through in the clutch. That is the Joe Carter that we all know, love, and follow. Georgia Tech, the number 6 team in the nation, is going to Wichita to begin its quest for a College World Series title. The Yellow Jackets, the number 1 seed in the Midwest, 2 regionals. So it will go like this. Noon Friday, number 1 Georgia Tech versus UConn at number 6. Then Long Beach State will go against Washington. And remember last year, Wichita State is the team that knocked out Georgia Tech out of the tournament. They will take on Santa Clara, so perhaps a chance for some revenge. In the opening round of the French Open, 4-seeded Martina Navratilova lost to Miriam Oromans 6-4 and 6-4 in her final singles appearance on the Paris clay courts. She is 37 now, hadn't lost so early in a Grand Slam event since 1976, but Mother Nature is calling. Martina, retire. Martina, retire. Andre Agassi over Mats Wilander is 6-2, 7-5, and 6-1 today. Other winners, Sampras and Graf. The Atlanta Knights have returned home without the Turner Cup, but still, they lead the series against Fort Wayne 3-2. Game 6 is Wednesday night inside the Omni, so they didn't get it done in northeastern Indiana last night, but still you have to think about getting that one game the other night in all of those overtimes. This is a team that simply is not going to lose.
Like I said, we've come out of here with a win, and when you've come out on a win on the road, where you're still up 3-2, we're going home. I'm not really worried about it. It's just that some of the guys will have to pick it up. Some of the players are going to have to sit down and look at themselves closely and say, well, what are we going to do?
Give them heck, John, will you? Utah in Houston tonight, and we will have highlights coming your way. That is it, gang.
Should have expected no less from you on that foxy comment.
I couldn't pass.
You adapt so quickly.
Yeah, I do. This is about being flexible. This business is always being flexible. Always go with the wind.
Thank you, Jeff.
For philosophizing for us. We appreciate that.
And that's it for now. For the Wind Going with Jeff Hollinger, for Ken Cook and the rest of the news team, I'm John Marlin.
And I'm Brenda Wood. Thanks for making Channel 5 your choice for news at 6. CBS Evening News is next. Have a great evening.
If you see news happening, call the Eyewitness Newsroom. Just dial *5 on your Bell South Mobility cell phone. The call is free. You can be a part of Eyewitness News.